Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm your host, Gabbo Say Something. We back with another one. We got Sorry J. Cole is not getting a pass. Yo, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I might have trolled a couple of times ever since that whole J. Cole apology towards Kendrick. It was a little cringy, bro. I knew where J. Cole was coming from. It's right on par with this Gandhi-like approach towards hip-hop that he's had, that we kind of seen him transitioning into slowly over the past, let's say 5-6 years, where J. Cole started growing out the locks and he started becoming one of those like visual rappers where it's really about some other shit. But the thing is, you're playing the wrong sport for this. It's not to say that apology will never be forgiven or accepted, but when you play a physical sport like hip hop, you don't get to say that you don't want to tackle no more. You don't get to say that you don't want to get tackled no more. You know what you signed up for, bro. There is no such thing as flag hip hop, and apparently a lot of the fan base feel the same way. So we're gonna get into why people I'm just not gonna continue to shit on J. Cole, even though he is like the meme for like soft nigga nowadays. Like, I get the meme, but it's just like, at the end of the day, he's still J. Cole, bro. You know what I mean? It's just what God, son. I'm not gonna cancel J. Cole from an apology like some of y'all, bro. Like, it's not like the dude got arrested for some weird shit. It's not like he going to jail. Like, he just opted out of beefing with Kendrick when he really didn't want to. He doesn't play that game no more. And credit to him. Drake don't give a damn about that shit. So we're gonna get right into it, man.
People are trying to run interference for J. Cole, and I'm not allowing it to happen. The J-Fold narrative will continue, and it will continue strong.
J-Fold?
However, we do gotta add some context, and I will admit, things look different in the light after we have more context. And this came out on The Source, and they were talking about J. Cole was advised, reportedly, by Schoolboy Q to exit the Kendrick Lamar beef. And they said, pretty much, it was like live on stage at his Dreamville Fest, a spot where a rapper currently embroiled in beef would get a Summer Jam moment off. Cole dubbed the diss the lamest stuff I did in my life. So they pretty much said, hey, Schoolboy Q, and they said they saw Schoolboy Q pull J. Cole to the side, and he told him, hey, this is going to get ugly, and he warned him and said, hey, you should probably get out this beef. Schoolboy Q was performing there. Schoolboy Q is TDE. Schoolboy Q has always been cool and close with Kendrick Lamar, so this is feasible. And funny enough, someone who collaborated with J. Cole, I think their song was called Johnny P's Caddy, is none other than Benny the Butcher, and I'm going to give you his take. So we're going to play that clip real quick.
What do you think about Cole in this whole thing? You know,
That's
Cole.
my dog.
Yeah, for real, there you go.
Can see, honestly, you can see how gossipy and everything that this battle's turned into. Do you blame him for not wanting to be a part of this at this moment? Could you blame him? I don't. You know what I mean?
You think he did the right thing?
I probably would have went about it in a different way, but
Facts. And that's what like the real folks will say. Ain't no did he do the right thing, man. Like, first of all, the whole apology was cringy because at the end of the day, Kendrick did technically diss you. So for you to now retaliate with an apology after you made your own diss track was a little weird and off-putting, and that's why I feel like the fans are giving you a lot of flack because you dissed them back just to apologize. You could have just said, yo, you know what? Drop the diss track. What is that? I might delete this later, whatever. You could have just dropped that and then left it alone, and then interviews came out and just talked about like not wanting to engage you with this shit because you didn't want it to go a certain type of way. But to issue a public apology on your show, on your platform to this man, just wasn't the right move, bro. Like, I don't know who's a part of his PR team, but you are hip hop, Jay. You are.
it's like a gossip battle. You know what I mean? It's not like a rap battle. It's like a business, telling each other business type of thing. So I wouldn't want to be a part of that. You know what I mean?
A little messy. It's a little messy right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that is all what diss tracks is. I fucked your bitch. I stole this. You got robbed here. I mean, it's always been gossipy. I don't understand that angle.
So you just heard Benny the Butcher, and he's like, yeah, you know, it got a little ugly. But keep in mind, when they said, or they asked him, he's like, oh, what would you have done? He's like, well, I would have handled it differently. That's the most important part. Oh, no, I wouldn't have backed out like J. Cole did. I would have handled it differently. So this whole thing, still, keep in mind, J. Cole entered the arena. He entered the Coliseum and he ran out. He knew what he was getting into. J. Cole is a damn scholar of hip-hop. He's seen how beefs get. What did he think? This was going to be like a little tag, you're it, running around the playground or something like that? Beef was going to be beef. I will say, though, that J. Cole's image looks good in terms of PR, right? Like, they're not calling him a woman beater. They're not saying he likes kids. Nothing crazy's getting stained on J. Cole. But I still have to come to the point, which is he didn't have to bow out the way that he did. Number one, he didn't have to delete the record. Number two, or number 1.5, if he took the record down, he didn't really have to say anything. Number two, he didn't have to say that's the lamest thing I've ever done. He could have just said, yeah, I think I was looking things over. I kind of just want to focus on my own music and not get into any drama. That's something simple that he could have pulled out with. And I think that's one of the main points that I kept making. It's like this guy completely submitted. He pretty much just pulled his pants down. Like straight, no homo. But he just completely submitted to Kendrick Lamar and said, hey, this person is above me. That's what the entire play was. You could pull out without doing that. And everyone wants to spin like, yo, you see J. Cole, we got to show him respect. He was smart to stay out of this. What? Meanwhile, Drake's out here getting allegations tossed on him that are the worst thing you could possibly have. People gonna be yelling A minor and other OVO and other obscenities and lines that Drake does not want associated with him. And he knew that because even in the tailor-made freestyle, he said, oh, this might be an angle that you take. So Drake was prepared for the worst. And he still went in and he fought a good battle. And like I said, if judging by Not Like Us being the last track, or not like The Heart Part 6, if that's the last track, then Drake took the L. Now it's not an embarrassment, but he just took the L. We still respect Drake more than J. Cole. Like, are you going to tell me you respect J. Cole more than Drake because J. Cole decided to stay out of the beef?
I'll give him that. That's a good point. I don't think the fans, it shouldn't, like at least Drake competed, in the competition of the sport. You want to, you got to respect the nigga that didn't back down in its true essence. So Drake definitely gets more points. I'll give him that.
Instead of going in there, and how bad would it have gotten for J. Cole anyway? Okay,
unless you got something to hide.
Doesn't want to. What is Kendrick Lamar going to come at him crazy? And I'm just not going to buy this. Like, sure, the story may be true, and most likely I do believe the story to be true. But we're not going to rewrite history and say J. Cole was right. Contextually, I don't even know how J. Cole would have fit into all of this, because this whole beef was Kendrick going directly at Drake and OVO members catching shots, but that's pretty much just going at Drake as an entity. On the other hand, Drake was going at Rocky, Kendrick, Ross, and I'm not saying this makes it more difficult for Drake, which it somewhat does. I am saying that Drake was dissing multiple people, and he's been dissing multiple people on pretty much all of these tracks, whereas Kendrick was just solely focused on Drake. If J. Cole was in the mix, how would this go? Would Kendrick Lamar drop tracks for J. Cole and Drake at the same time? Would he pair them together like they were against him? How would it work? I do think this is funny though, because the initial narrative that was running was Drake was the one that pushed J. Cole to diss Kendrick Lamar. We don't know if this is true yet. The theory sounded cool because Drake didn't drop anything coming at Kendrick Lamar at that time. It was just a J. Cole track, and first-person shooter, the more...
What would make J. Cole issue an apology to Kendrick, though? Like, let's get to the bottom of it. Y'all think Kendrick knew something about J. Cole? Y'all think J. Cole got something to hide? Because lyrically, I would say J. Cole's on par with Drake and Kendrick, right? Like, no big threes, just big me. People view J. Cole like he's one of those. He's one of the who's. So lyrically, if this is like a tit for tat, you would think J. Cole could come back harder than Kendrick. So why back out the competition? If it ain't, now granted, we've seen diss tracks in the past end up to being some real street shit, and maybe was one of J. Cole's concerns with this shit turning ugly and getting violent. Or it could be some shit where Kendrick knows something about Cole, and rather than just take the chance of him airing it out, I'ma back out. Because there's no way J. Cole didn't think there would be this kind of clap back to him up. No, I'm losing my breath. Apologizing. There's no way he didn't think there's no way he thought everybody was gonna be on par with what he did. Maybe this man had something to hide. Or not.
Context we're getting about that, it was alleged that Kendrick Lamar was supposed to be on that track, and when he denied being on it, that's when Drake kind of started to take aim at him a little bit more, which makes sense. And then he comes back on like that. But I'm kind of glad that J. Cole bowed out, because we got to see a beef of the actual top two. J. Cole, doesn't compare to them, and I think it would have gotten a bit too convoluted. So I'm glad for our sake that J. Cole got out of it. But I'm not going to respect that decision. I'm not going to co-sign that decision. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to lambaste that decision and will continue to do so for the foreseeable future. I don't see my opinion on that changing. Unless J. Cole picks someone else to go at. But who's he really going to go at that he has problems with? Kanye West? He should. But going at Kanye West, we don't even really look at him like, oh, he's a rapper that's going to battle back and forth. And keep in mind, you saw how Kanye West tried to insert himself into the Like That beef or the Like That record. I don't even know if they wanted him on it. I don't know if Metro Boomin, Future, and these other guys wanted him on it because he kind of just inserted himself. Did Metro Boomin even repost it? The song got taken down everywhere. I wouldn't say leaked it, but it seems like he just did his own thing and put it out like, yo, thanks for tagging me in. Kendrick never mentioned Kanye West, any of that. So it seems like Kanye just pushed himself into this whole situation. And we really didn't care too much. Like, the song was cool. His verse was cool. The original was way better. That we did not need Kanye West on Like That at all. And this is me saying that. And you guys know I love Kanye West music. Now, his decision making, that's entirely different. With that being said, J. Cole still folded. He knew what he was getting into. We're acting like he got dragged into this. J. Cole dissed. He knew what comes with a diss. Now, Schoolboy Q telling him, and think about it like this, any other rapper, just think if Schoolboy Q pulled Drake to the side, maybe not Schoolboy Q, but anybody, and said, yeah, you should really you should pull out of this one. Do you think Drake would actually listen, or would the majority of rappers feel insulted like, wait, hold on, you think I'm not good enough to hack it? You want me to pull out? I feel like most rappers, they'd go even harder after hearing something like that. Like, yo, who does he think this guy is? That I can't hold up? I don't care what he's got to say. Unless J. Cole is, I don't know, hiding something that would really, really ruin his reputation. And then I would understand. So if J. Cole's got some crazy skeletons in his closet, he's like, yo, if this is aired out, the entire way that people see me would be destroyed. I understand the decision, but then I would still have to say, then why did you get to yapping? You should have just kept it to yourself. You should never beef with anybody if you have that type of background. So still, I'm not going to buy this. I'm not going to co-sign this. J. Cole still folded out of this beef. It was an embarrassing moment. And people are going to try to rewrite history, but that's not going to influence me. We're going to need a lot more context and a lot more of an explanation. So just like after the Pusha T beef, Drake sat down with LeBron James at the barbershop or whatever, we're going to need a J. Cole sit down with somebody to get some more context on this. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoy.
That's like the top thing everybody's kind of waiting on, right? Like the next J. Cole interview where he gets peppered with that question regarding the beef. Because that's what I said. Like, why else would you want to back out and then publicly apologize? Like, that's saying no mas. That is the definition of tapping out. It hurts. Like, it's one thing to back out of a beef, but to issue a public apology when the disrespect was loud? He got to be hiding something, bro. I don't know. I don't run nothing past nobody. I still fuck with J. Cole. But you would think the man hiding something to issue a public apology to someone that disrespected him. That's crazy work. Just the narrative alone is crazy. Y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all thought and what you... It's just crazy to me, bro. I'm going to holler at you guys next video, man. Mamba out. Yeah.